Good morning, everybody, and this is your S&P 500 day trade setups for today. So we got going yesterday. Been a while since we started getting going, but all the way down to 4,000, and you can see a lot of people taking profit there. Basically, I would be taking profit as well. And what's concerning me though is we've got a grouping of the oscillators here. So from the 8-hour perspective, we are basically back at the 155. Look what happened here. 155 inside bar formed, and then we continued. So you need to be wary of that. We haven't really had a decent retest of 4,000. We had this sort of 1 week pullback here. That was late January when we came back, bounced off there. So now the shorts, if there are any, should technically only be off 4051 or 4050. That's basically what we should be doing. Just on the weekly perspective, you can see inside bar, and we had that rejection bar, and now we're sort of below this area. So there's definitely merit. I'm just going to have to put two levels in here. So just give me 1 sec, because on the weekly it looks so close, but on the levels we're trading, it's not going to be that close. Okay, so let's just get back down to the areas. And you can see 4,000, and then we've got this weekly zone here, which again was tested in January as well. So that is 39, probably 39.50, 39.55. So 39.50 is the next logical area. Fascinating to see that we are moving in 50-point increments. Not too long ago, we were moving in 200-point increments. Now we're down to 50-point increments. So looking at the 3-hour crossover of the moving averages, granted, we haven't had a retest of structure on the higher time frame, so still no real signal on the higher time frame that I need to be short. But it's the lower time frames that we're obviously looking at. And yesterday there was a signal, and I'm going to put it in here. There was a break of structure yesterday. We'll get to that on the lower time frame. So if you look at all the time frames, everything is oversold at the moment. So you are looking for a pullback on structure. So this to me is the area of the shorts. Granted, we are, well, if you pull back up to there, it's almost a massive engulfing bar or big inside bar on the daily. So we'll have to see if that actually plays out. But if we just drop down to the 15-minute, you can see that was the area when we did the video. Then sort of at the European Open it dropped, and then immediately came back to test the break. So you can see you've got multiple tails here, so typically fairly confident to put a trade in like that with a stop just above the structure. You could go above the high, so it gives you a 100-point stop loss, which is more than enough. But the net result would be, if you're still holding that, was 500 points, so that would be a 5-to-1 trade. So we do have gaps to the upside, and then obviously we've got this little bit of structure here, and lastly we've got a bit of structure here. So what we want to be doing on the 15-minute is, if we get above 4,009 or 4,010, if we get above and build a base there, you're probably going to find us closing. There's a little gap here, and then there's a gap there. So you probably find us targeting one of those gaps, or alternatively this 4041 area. The other thing to bear in mind is that if we reject this area, and if you look at the oscillators, it is looking like rejection. We do have a close below the 4,000 yesterday. You can see that. There's close, there's another close. There is a strong possibility that we can continue on to 4,050. So on the lower time frames, trend is down. We're looking for opportunities to short. A couple of ways of doing it. If the same thing pans out as what panned out yesterday, in other words, we go sideways, we break structure, come back and test it like this, valid signal for you to get in short, and then next target should be, well, 39.67, then 39.55. That's kind of the view that I've got right now. But just wait for the signal. Don't just jump in on this and assume that it's going to continue, because if it does get above here, there is a double top, sorry, double bottom structure, which is there, and should be there. So that takes us into the middle of nowhere, but there is a little bit of structure there. You can see those two tails there. Definitely something brewing there. So anyway, that's kind of the short and sweet of this at the moment. We're obviously in the hands of the central bankers at the moment, so we'll have to wait and see what they come up with. But it does look interesting, and if you can see, if it's hold off another hour or two, you'll find the oscillator's getting to the top as well. And we've really got a bit of diversions brewing from this little swing low here, swing high there, this 1 bar swing high, to where we are now. So I definitely think we've got more downside coming, but the question is from where. So ideally we'd want a rejection up there. It may not materialize. You'll probably get a rejection in this zone, which is then just going to extend this down to 39.55. So pay close attention. Definitely something worth watching. But keep those stops really tight, because if you look at the 8-hour oscillators here, it doesn't look like there's much more on offer. And obviously each one of these tails here, every fractal that you see is a good possibility for support to be found. Lastly, before we go on our merry way, draw in this trend line here. It is very strong. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches on that trend line, and it intersects this area here, so that's definitely what I think we're aiming for. Below this is a different story. Anyway, that's kind of my view for today. Hope it helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.